From the News Channel 5 Network and Out and About newspaper, this is Out and About Today. Sponsored by the Tennessee Performing Arts Center.
Good evening, I'm Pam Wheeler and welcome to a very special edition of Out and About Today. It's our Nashville Pride Preview 2019. We're covering all things Pride throughout the show. We'll be looking at Nashville Pride's entertainment lineup and discussing all of the festival and parade details as well. But first, I'm joined by Brent and Nashville Pride board member Phil Cobucci. And tonight, welcome, happy Pride already.
Happy Pride.
Here
we are.
You're ready.
I'm ready.
Right here.
I'm
Yeah.
ready. I got some shoes. I'm good.
It looks nice.
Yeah, thanks.
This is our Christmas. We talk about that every year.
Yep.
It's also the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall riots,
Correct.
1969 in New York.
Yep.
So what impact did that have on the planning of this year's events?
I think there's so much that has gone into the planning of the event this year, specifically keeping in mind that Stonewall is sort of the birth of the Pride movement. I think it's a couple different things, right? This year is the first ever parade,
right,
of this magnitude. You know, we've had walks in the past, and so I think that there's that to consider, but this year, parade is going to be a big piece of that. But then also finding ways that we're going to celebrate and remember our history. Because, you know, we're a big believer at Pride that, you know, what is remembered lives on, right? And so the more that we can do to tell our story from the history side of things, the better off we're going to be.
And we're going to touch on the special project you launched in just a second, but I want to go back to the parade.
Yeah.
What makes it a parade? Because the walk's been so successful. Does parade mean floats? Is that the difference? It does.
Because there's some of us that are old enough to remember when we used to do parades and there was a few floats, and that's been a minute.
Right.
So I know there were some cars, or so. Is it going to be a similar feel to that, like, or even bigger?
Not 10 years ago feel, but but yes, we are pulling out all the stops for this. And so we have presentations of all different sizes and varieties.
Cool.
We have organizations that are simply just walking behind a banner, all the way up to organizations that are putting together a float, to businesses that are making massive presentations that have supported the Pride movement and LGBT people for a number of years.
So a grown-up parade.
So a grown-up
Not
parade.
one through the park.
And
No,
I would think that over the years the bystander number will increase because people love to watch a parade, right?
We estimated having about 10,000 people participate in the walk last year.
Right.
This year we're looking at like 6,000 people participating in the parade.
Oh wow,
So
that's great.
we hope that everyone comes out to Broadway between 8th and 2nd Avenues. We're kind of march right down Broadway, and it's going to be a massive undertaking, but it's going to be so much fun.
I can't wait to see sort of the tourist face, because I remember last year during the walk there was so much support from people screaming from their balconies and whatnot, and of course they had no idea that it was happening until it happened. So that's going to be interesting to see them see a real parade.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how exciting and how different it is from the walk, because the walk, you know, was kind of in this space where we were just walking on some of the side streets in downtown. This is going to be such a dramatic impact coming down that hill, down 8th, you know, down Broadway from 8th Avenue. It's going to really be a scene.
I know, and it does speak to the healthiness of the Pride organization, because you need a lot of support and money to launch a full-blown parade. We've got some pictures of, well, the whole event from last year. So let's move on real quick. Last month, Nashville Pride launched the Nashville LGBTQ Community Visioning Project. So you spoke about, you know, the history and remembering. What is this project all about?
So we're trying to have the conversation here in the community of what is next for the LGBTQ community here in Nashville and in Middle Tennessee. Where are we going? What services do we need? What programming needs to be created? And how are we going to be engaged as a community in all of the different areas of our lives to ensure that we live happy, full, meaningful lives where we're thriving as members of the LGBTQ community here in Nashville. And so we're asking some very pointed questions in that conversation. We're doing a variety of different types of conversations, from, you know, large scale format to where we have 60 to 75 people in a room, to smaller groups where it's 10 to 12, and then we're going to be having a digital survey component as well. And so there are multiple ways that people are going to be engaging in this, hopefully engaging in this conversation.
And so everyone in our community, are they invited to participate?
Everyone in the community.
Doing an online survey type of thing?
Yes. So the online survey component will happen during Pride Week, and so there'll be a lot of communication around that. But if you are interested in participating in an in-person event where there's a moderated discussion, and there's some very pointed questions about the future of the community, this is the opportunity now to get involved in a conversation. Visit the website. It's lgbtqcommunitysurvey.org. And everything is listed there. So if you have questions about the program or how you can be involved.
So you gather all this information over the course of a couple months.
Yep.
And then what do you do with it? And is it open to everybody? Is it going to be
So there will be a public release of sort of where we as a community are headed. So hopefully by the end of this we will have a clear guidance of we need to be working towards this goal, whatever that might be.
Sure.
Right? And that and so that's the ultimate goal, right? So there will be some public information that's available, but then all of the organizations that work within LGBTQ spaces here in Nashville and Middle Tennessee will also have access to that information, but in a much more research-driven data type of report versus some pretty infographic that says we need to work towards this initiative. You know?
Okay.
How long has it been since this is done before? It's been a while. I don't know that it ever.
I don't remember ever doing it on
Well,
this.
this is great.
On
So
this
everybody
scale.
needs to pay attention and participate if they can, at least the survey. Yeah.
Right. And so it's a really good opportunity for people to engage in wherever they're comfortable. And the thing is that the people that are working on this survey, we all have different research backgrounds and marketing experience, communication experience, and so we all are really passionate about really hearing from the community. The biggest thing to understand is that my lived experience is not your lived experience.
That's right.
It's not your lived experience, and so I can't say that this is what we need to be doing for the future of our community without getting your insight, and then everyone else's.
Right,
So.
very smart. Okay, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to dive deep into the Pride Weekend agenda. Stay right there. We'll be right back.